Hello everyone! Today we will take a virtual tour around 7 countries and get acquainted with their representatives and cultures.
Hello, my name is Imad. I'm from Morocco. I'm a second-year student at the Medical Institute at the name of Alexander Petrovich Zeber. I am from Morocco, which is a country in the northwest of Africa with a population of approximately 37 million. The capital is Rabat, and it's known for its tasty food and its welcoming people. So when I finished school, I knew that I will study abroad, and I had some choices. For example, in Germany, in Russia, and in China. I chose Russia because it's the most cost-effective. For once, the second criteria was that is with a good cost, you can have a really good education. And the third criteria, it was that the language is not as hard in comparison, for example, to China. One of my first impressions when I just came to Russia was after I had a connecting flight in Turkey. So in Turkey, I was wearing a t-shirt because it was warm. But when I came to Russia in November, it was very cold. It was like -4 degrees. So I had to take my jacket and put it on. And I noticed also in the same day that people talk really, really fast. So I had an impression that Russian language is a very fast language. And also after a few days, I had an impression before that people in Russia more or less speak English language. But after a few days, I noticed that it's very, very few people that actually speak English. So one of the main differences that I noticed when I came to Russia was the architecture here in Russia is very different than the architecture in my home country. And also one of the main differences was the fashion trends here in Russia are way different than the ones I left back home. And also there is food differences. Maybe the most interesting one that I noticed was about soups. Here in Russia, there is a variety of diverse kinds of soups. And in my home country, we just only have heavy soups, and we don't have light soups here like in Russia. One of the most interesting aspects of Russian culture that I found most interesting that here in Russia there is a lot of traditional and folk dances. For example, in my country there's not too many folk dances, and it's not really that popular. And the other thing that I found out was that Russia is a multinational country. And there is one more thing that was a little bit interesting, is that in my country it is normal to say hi to people that you don't know. But in Russia I found out that it is not normal. So my first impression about the food in Russia that is there is too many kinds of soups, light, heavy, and other things. And my favorite Russian dish is pancakes or pelmeni. And in my country, my favorite dish is Moroccan pastilla, which is a meat pie. And there is also one very traditional Moroccan dish, which is couscous, which is actually our national dish. And also the main difference that I noticed is the way people use spices here in Russia. They use not too many spices, but in Morocco they use a lot of them in the food, and it's like a very necessary step. And also I thought About pelmeni or dumplings in English, that they only exist in China, but I only found out later that they exist also in Russia. And one of the most interesting things that I found out also was there is too many dairy products in Russia. So when I first arrived to Russia, I didn't know Russian language. So I had a lot of difficulties communicating with other people, either while shopping or traveling or doing day-to-day tasks. So the way I handled it is using the language of gestures or by using the translators on my phone. So my advice to the new international students that are coming here to Russia is to try to study a little bit of Russian language before coming here. Because that is going to help you have less difficulties interacting with people or shopping or doing day-to-day tasks. Thank you for your attention.